Hello people, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Market expert says he is not here for XRP to hit $3, $5 or $18, but $333. Interesting. Okay guys, let's get into it. So, the analyst in question here is Dark Defender, a prominent market analyst, specifically for XRP, mainly covers XRP from what I've seen on X. And yeah, the title really says it all. He's basically saying, look, I'm not here for the $3, $5, $18, I'm here for $333. So, let's get into it then. So, the first thing that I'm going to say in regards to this, what you want or what you're here for and what you're going to get is two different things, right? Now, when I say that, I don't want that to seem like what I'm trying to say is $333 isn't going to happen. But I'm just saying, look, like we can all be here for certain price targets. It doesn't mean that we're definitely going to get it, right? There's no guarantees in this space. And this is why, for me as an XRP holder, when I see people talking about like these $10,000 and things like that, like nothing is guaranteed. So that's one of my issues as to why I don't like the whole theory of $10,000 is because people just make it sound like it's set in stone, like it's guaranteed to happen, which no one can guarantee anything, right? So that's the first thing. But look, do I believe in XRP going into triple digits? Yes, but this is my thing with this. There's no time frame mentioned on here, so this is where it can be a bit of a problem, right? Because let's just say that Dark Defender says that he's here for $333. Okay, but by when, right? Like, are you thinking into 2040, for example? Like, you know, are you willing to like hold for, you know, extended periods of time? Or are you saying, oh, I'm looking for $333 like this market cycle? Because that's going to make a big difference on how we view this, right? So, to me, like, if he's saying $333 this market cycle, I'll just be honest with you, I don't really see that, to be completely honest, not this market cycle. I think that's way too premature to expect those kind of prices. But if you're talking like, you know, long term, can that happen? Well, yeah, okay, but when we say long term, I don't know how much long term we could be talking. I don't know if we could be talking 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, etc. I have no idea, but I do believe that is possible. And so this is the only thing when we get into talking about these kind of price ranges, right? So for me, even if we're looking at, let's say, triple digits, because I've said that XRP is, you know, it's possible for XRP to get to 3 digits, right? If I was going to be looking at that, let's just go with this market cycle, because I know that's what really everybody's interested in, right? If we're talking about triple digits, this market cycle, for me, at the most, we're going to be talking in the hundreds. I don't see it going into like the 200s personally. We're talking, to me, maximum in the hundreds, I would say. And if you just ask me generally, do I think it's going to get to 3 digits this market cycle in general? I don't see this market cycle. I just think it's too early to get to that kind of figure. That's just my general opinion, right? Not saying I can't be wrong, but that's my opinion. I think it's way too premature. So, you know, in the article, it does stay here as well, just to let you know. For XRP to hit $333, we're talking like an $18 trillion market cap. XRP, the last time I checked, it was like in the 30-odd billions in terms of market cap. Very big difference there, right? For it to get to that kind of level, it would have to flip Bitcoin. And to me, in terms of this market cycle, do I see XRP surpassing Bitcoin? And when we're talking about surpassing Bitcoin, we're not talking about like just narrowly surpassing Bitcoin. We're talking like well clear of what Bitcoin is, right? I don't see it. I really don't see it. I think that's a very big ask, you know, especially as like, you know, Bitcoin has got like the ETF and stuff like that now as well. So they've got way more exposure to like the general retail investors and stuff. XRP's got a lot to contend with to try and beat Bitcoin. I do not see that happening in this market cycle. And, you know, just to add in another factor to that, like, you've got to understand that, like, this is a sliding scale, right? Because if we go into a bull run, Bitcoin is going to be running as well, right? Like, Bitcoin does lead first, but Bitcoin will have gained a whole new level of market cap from its own rally, right? Because if Bitcoin gets to, let's say, you know, the hundreds of thousands, etc., that kind of price target, well, that's got a whole new market cap. So then XRP's got to contend with that as well. So yeah, personally, I just don't think that's going to be happening like this market cycle. But yeah, in terms of like, looking for the long term, yeah, I suppose you can look to that. But this is the thing for me, is that when they don't give a time frame, I think that can be a bit, to me, I think it's a bit dangerous, just because if you're saying that kind of price range and you're not giving a time scale, I'm sure a lot of people are thinking more short term. So they're assuming by you saying that is that you're thinking that XRP is going to reach those type of targets probably by this bull cycle, right? So if it's not really clarified in terms of what you're referring to, people are going to be thinking that's what it's going to be. And don't get me wrong, if that's what the charts tell you and that's what you believe, then fair enough. But I think you need to stand on it if that's the case. Like, you need to say, I'm here for $333 this market cycle. Because this is the thing, right? When it comes to like analysts and stuff, you've got to be able to just own up to when you're wrong. That you've got to be able to do that. And if you keep making your predictions vague, so you can never like really be wrong, obviously it's not good, because you can keep evading having to accept any kind of responsibility if you are wrong. And when I say responsibility, I will say this, look, even with chart analysts, I'll say this, you should never take what they're saying as gospel, because they're not in a position to give financial advice. And let me just say this, just to be clear, even financial advisors get it wrong. So, even if you've got someone who's qualified, it doesn't mean they're always going to be right. There's people out there who manage like hedge funds and things like that, and they don't always get things right. So nobody ever knows for sure. Let me just put that out there, because, this whole like financial advisor thing, it's a bit overblown. Like it makes it sound like, if you go to a financial advisor, you're definitely going to make money. That's not a guarantee either, right? Like, this is one of the things that they say. Listen, like, we can't always guarantee that we'll make you a profit, but we will still have to charge you because we've still had to manage your money. So you could lose money with the financial advisor and still have to pay them for the service as well. So, I'm not trying to say that to be like, if it was a financial advisor, it'd be different. No, there's risk with anybody. And that's the point. Nobody knows for sure. So I don't think that you should take this as like gospel if this is what he believes. This is his belief, right? This is what the charts are telling him. But you could go to another chart analyst who believes XRP is going to go to a completely different figure. Maybe higher, maybe lower. But this is what I'm saying. Everybody's got their own interpretation of the charts. And so for me, I'm just going to say, look, in terms of this cycle, I don't think that's likely. I really don't. $333 just sounds way too excessive to me. Sounds like way too much of a high feat. But I do expect price action. Like, 100% do I expect XRP to break into a new all-time high? Yes, 100%. I'm thinking more double digits than triple digits personally. But I am thinking that XRP is going to go into double digits. So that's where I'm putting my bets. But again, I'm not a chart analyst. This is just my own personal interpretation for what I believe, for what I've seen of past, experience and things like that, and just the research that I've done. I think double digits is going to be more likely for this cycle. And that's where I'm kind of, laying my foundation in terms of how I, react when the market is going off. This is down to whatever you guys believe. Obviously, it's your own decision to make. But, yeah, like it's down to everybody's, personal opinion and personal beliefs. Like, there's some people who might look at $333 and say, oh, well, that's nonsense because I think XRP is going to like $10,000. So no way I'm selling at $333, right? Like, that's what some people believe. So some will look at even that figure as just, nonsense. And so, again, this is one of those things where it's down to different individuals' opinion as to how they react to this. But yeah, like, look, if that's what the market is telling him, that's what the charts are telling him, then, fair enough. I just personally disagree. But it's all down to you guys to make your own, decision as to whether you believe this, whether you don't, whether you think it can go higher, whether you think it'll be lower, or whether you just agree generally that it can reach that figure and it will reach that figure in this cycle. But as there's no time frame, I do think that puts a bit of a spanner in the works here because, again, like, let's say it doesn't reach $333 this cycle, and then you go to Dark Defender and say, hey, you said $333. He could turn around and say, hey, I never said this market cycle. I never said that. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is what I mean when I say being like intentionally vague. It's kind of like you can kind of give answers, but then the way you've given the answer, you can kind of manipulate it to how you want it to be to evade having to take any kind of like you know, any type of ownership if you're wrong. You don't ever have to say that you're wrong, because he could just say, well, I never gave a time frame. Like, I could be meaning $333 in 10 years, for example. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm saying, like, if you believe this, you've got to stand on it. You've got to give like a date. You've got to give, you know, your confirmation of what you believe, like, or some level of time frame, just so people have got something to gauge. Because if he said that he's here for $333 in like 10 years, then a lot of people might say, oh, okay, cool. Like, that's nice, but I'm not willing to wait 10 years. So I'm just not even going to bother thinking about that price. Like, it's good to hear that he thinks it can reach those figures, but I'm not here to wait 10 years. Do you see what I'm saying? And that will change people's perspective. But if people just see that right now, they might think, okay, $333 this market cycle, great. Like, I'm here for it. And then they could be building their whole exit strategy in terms of selling XRP based on it going to those kind of numbers. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's why I say there should be a bit more clarity in regards to how he's making this kind of prediction. So that's just my thoughts, but make of it what you will. But what do you guys think? XRP going to $333. Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'll be interested to hear. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did like it, please remember to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. But until next time, take care.